I will focus my talk more on the high-end residential market. Reason being, I've been involved in it since 2003 in the capacity of marketing them to people like you. I hope you won't. I hope you'll be happy. I see happy faces. You won't come after me after my talk. Our first project was Caraville in Montclair, which was then followed by Hampshire in KLCC. We then did Zen Bukit Pantai, and our last project was Twins in Damansara. Because of my involvement, I believe I've gained fair insight as to how the market works, how buyers like you think and make your decisions. And so, hopefully, today I'll give you my 2 cents worth of where I see the market is going. Yeah, Fongi did ask us to declare our interest. At the moment, I've got no real interest in high-end residential condominiums simply because we have sold, in a way, we have sold out our last project. I don't have any project to market at the moment. I had one project to market in the KLCC, which was the Millennium Residences, but of course, because of the current situation, I think the developer has put it on hold. So, in a way, in that sense, I don't have any interest. Right, let's start. Just a snapshot of where we are in terms of our economic situation. I think we all know that the country essentially is slipping into recession. Whether we do or not will depend on the next 2 quarter figures. But we know that in the last quarter, it was announced that growth was only 0.1%, and in the first quarter, I think it's very likely that we'll have negative growth. To counter this, of course, the government has introduced certain fiscal measures. One is that they have lowered interest rates. So now I think for buyers at least, you enjoy really rates that you probably never enjoyed before. The government has also lowered the SRR, which is the statutory reserve requirement, essentially to make the banks more liquid. So the banks now actually have even more money to lend to you. But of course, the banks, while they have money to lend, in an environment like this, they will tend to be a bit more careful, a bit more selective. Inflation has slowing down. Of course, like Jin Soon said, it was only about a year ago, when the oil prices were $150, and all hell broke loose. Inflation soared everywhere in the world, including Malaysia. But I think now everything seems to be back to normal, and we see it sliding. Of course, in all this, the property market is softening, generally speaking. And lastly, the government has introduced 2 stimulus packages. The second one, of course, just in March, which was a much larger package of about 60 billion ringgit. Let me take out my glasses. Right, a lot has been said about high-end condominium supply. A lot has been said as to whether there is an oversupply. But as I will come to later, the main problem about high-end condominiums is that, I wouldn't say a problem, the main, one of the key features of high-end condominiums is that it is actually a very niche market. It's only a small proportion of the residential market in Kuala Lumpur, perhaps about only 5%. But it is still form part and parcel of the overall demand situation. And one of the most difficult things about predicting is predicting demand in this sector. And of course, if you add on complications of the sector also having sub-markets, different motivations of buyers, it's actually quite a complex market. But let's look at where the supply is. In KL city center, where we are talking about KLCC, Jalan Ampang, and the fringes. Currently, we have about 3,500 units of supply. And here, basically, I'm talking about condominiums that are maybe $500-600 per square foot or more, up to about $1,000 a square foot. In the KLCC area, I basically classified them into high-end and luxurious. High-end from 500-600 to 1,000 a square foot, and luxurious above 1,000. So for the high-end condominiums in the KLCC, the current supply is about 3,500, but for the rest of the year, we see about another 1,006 or another 50% of existing supply coming into the market. In 2010 and 2001, the supply is less. Now, the key to this is that a lot of supply seems to be coming in at the wrong time of the market. So, we believe that the market has already softened, and I think essentially in the KLCC area, generally speaking, you will see that it has softened between 10 to 20% from peak prices. Okay, from peak prices. But compared to the prices of 2003, 2004, they are still higher. In the luxurious category, the supply is actually very, very small. There are only about 300 units. But again, we are seeing, say, another 1,100 units completing in 2009. Okay, quite a similar situation with the high end. Perhaps maybe a little bit more, a little bit worse, if you like. In the suburbs, and this includes Monkera, Bangsa, Damansara Heights, etc. This is where you will find there are more supply of condominiums. Existing supply, and this we are talking about condominiums price around $400 per square foot and above. They are about roughly 10,000 units. And coming on stream in 2009 and 2010, you will see about another 2,000 units per annum coming into, which is about 20% of existing supply per annum. And it doesn't appear to be that bad.